My name is Max Young. I'm a Commander Champion, a Certified Commander Architect, and a Principal with Capital BPM, which is the Platinum Partner with Commanda, and also the 2024 Partner of the Year for all of the Americas. I want to talk a little bit about the intersection of AI and BPM and RPA and how these things fit together and what I call the temporal architecture. So as you can see, I've got a very simple process here indicating a job hire. And if I were going to take this and actually try to automate it, the way that I would approach this is I would first build out the process. Then I would indicate all the places where we have to do integrations. So for example, let's say, we take an application and it goes to Dolores, and Dolores opens up the Excel spreadsheet and then she takes like the second tab, the third item on the left, but only if it's over $5,000, and she puts it into the green screen, and that's how she makes things work, right? When you have integrations like that, the ideal answer, the right answer, is to actually build a RESTful API or some kind of an API that actually take the information that wherever it was she got the information from the spreadsheet, and actually puts it into whatever the backend system is that the green screen does. But practically speaking, that'll take you 6 months. So what do? Well, you draw out your process in a BPM tool. You use RPA to actually automate that part of it, so you get a quick win in about 2, 3, 4 weeks just for that tactical piece. And then concurrently, what you're doing is that you're building a true RESTful integration that will eventually replace the RPA, so that you don't have to go and continue to run that. Okay, so that's what I mean when I say temporal architecture. So we take the win by incorporating RPA with BPM, and then we put all that information together so that we start out with something that works and it gets incrementally better as we progress. So your tech debt is something you're accounting for. You can afford it. The next phase of all this is where AI comes in. As you can see within the diagram, I've indicated some user tasks as being blue, right? And the blue tasks for me indicate this is where a human being is making a decision. Now, the way that I would approach this from an NI enablement perspective is that I would start out again with a sense of temporal technology, right? So introducing a little bit of AI and then making it more and more palatable to the entire enterprise. And what I mean by that explicitly is, for example, when I have this solution, when I have, hey, someone needs to apply for a job, and maybe we want the AI to filter out candidates that don't fit our profile. So what I would do is I'll actually come in here and let me just change this color to say, orange, and say, hey, this is where the AI comes in. And what the AI would do was that it would actually review the mission and say something like, hey, I recommend that we hire this person, or we don't hire this person. And that recommendation literally becomes something that the apply for job person, the one that is actually doing that task, looks at and goes, the AI recommends this, right? So we track how strongly that correlates with the action that the person actually took, right? Did the person follow the AI's recommendation or not? What we're doing here is that we're actually building a knowledge base that is informed by human judgment on how good the AI is in doing what it's doing. So this becomes a basis for populating our LLMs so that we can eventually go and create our denormalized data structures and data sets for the data scientists that can set the right coefficients so that you're actually making the better and better decision as you go along. So the pattern is actually pretty simple. You identify processes that human beings are involved in. You start making recommendations to them, and you can do this immediately because they're just recommendations. You don't have to be right. You track how closely those recommendations are being followed. You put that information into a data store that can be analyzed by your data analysts and your data scientists, who can then inform your AI. And then eventually, when you reach a sufficient threshold of corrective correlation, you start actually taking the advice that the AI was giving you and executing. So for example, let's say when we first start this, we don't have a lot of information and the AI is right 40% of the time. Well, you run, a couple hundred, couple thousand, couple 100,000 applications through this process, and pretty soon the AI starts getting pretty smart. And whatever your threshold is about this, that's when you say, okay, when the AI is right 99.97% of the time, then what we're going to do is we're actually going to take the recommendation of the AI and we're going to make it the default behavior, and we execute on it unless a person overrides that. This gives you a lot of goodness. The first thing that it gives you is this idea of being able to essentially sneak up on the better and better solution, that temporal architecture that evolves over time. The second thing that it does is that it allows you to have nuance. So you may be able to automate, say, apply for a job, but maybe you're not ready to automate HR review yet. This allows you to have a little bit of a victory because you've automated 10%, 20%, 30%, a couple of the steps without having to wait until everything is perfect and you're automating everything, right? We don't want to let the perfect become the enemy of the good. So the goal here is to make sure that you are thinking about your projects in a way that incorporates the best of breed options of things like AI and RPA and BPM while still keeping the human element in there, and then allowing an organic and natural evolution, what I call evolutionary half steps, so that your processes can actually evolve over time and become smarter the more information you give them. I hope this has been useful. Please let me know if you have any questions. You can reach us at info@capbpm.com. Thank you.